there, my name is Femi Akonde, and you're watching The Big Issue. Thank you. Well, the ground rule is wedding bells should come before babies, meaning a man and a woman must come together in marriage before setting out to have children. Well, as they say, rules are meant to be broken. Putting carriage, and I mean pregnancy, before marriage now seems to be the new trend. And of course, this has surged and provoked debates about ringless parents. Some have questioned the societal values of holding marriage as a precondition to starting a family, while some feel tying the knot should be the ticket to pumping the pot. What's your stand? Is marriage before children a necessity? Stay with us. We are about to provoke an interesting debate here today. You're watching The Big Issue. Welcome back. An interesting debate we're going to have here today, and of course it is marriage before children a necessity? Well, to debate this very interesting topic, I have Ezefua Erabo. A round of applause for Ezefua Erabo. Please come up stage. Take this side of the podium. Ezefua Erabo is a life behavioral and parent and child well-being coach. Am I correct?
Yes, you
are. All right then. And she is Africa's emerging voice and thought leader on intentional, positive parenting and wholehearted living. Welcome her once again. On the flip side, I have Hannah Izehi. Let's welcome Hannah Izehi. Come on stage, ma'am. Well, today it's a woman's world. Take this side. And Izehi, on the other side of the divide, is an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, a sociologist, a writer, and an inspirational teacher that addresses issues relating to young women. Anna believes marriage should be a certification for having kids. Why do you hold strongly onto that standpoint that marriage should be a certification? It should be marriage before talking about children.
Okay, thank you very much. In the beginning, I'm a third person, and I'll start by that. You know, in the beginning, when God made Adam and Eve, He didn't bring children first. He brought Adam, then He brought Eve, and children what came later. So now, if you ask me, what is marriage? Marriage is the union of a man and a woman, not the union of having children first. So any person that brings a condition that you must have children before marriage, I think is an error on his part of the society. So as far as I'm concerned, marriage should come first before having children.
Marriage should come first before having children. But you are saying that it's not necessary. If the children come, fine. We can have marriage later.
So within the context of this conversation, I recognize that there are circumstances that would bring children first before marriage. I honor marriage, and I do believe that children should come within the context of marriage. However, there are certain circumstances that life throws at us where children will be born outside of the context of marriage.
But those circumstances can be controlled.
Yes, circumstances be controlled, but some are unavoidable. For example, a lady gets raped. She gives birth to a baby, and there is no father to that baby.
Those are exceptional cases.
Yes, so I think we need to consider the exceptional cases, or a situation where even a careless teenager has a baby, and she gives birth to a child. So I think that the bigger picture should actually be, what is the purpose of having a child in the first place? The fact that I am married does not guarantee that the children I would bring into that marriage will succeed. What then guarantees that these children would succeed? Do I have enough skill as a human being to even nurture the child I'm bringing? So I think those are the bigger questions we should be asking.
Marriage does not guarantee that the children within the marriage will thrive. So what happens to some of those exceptional cases that she has pointed out where children are born out of wedlock? Would those children thrive or not? Or is it like, should that be like a worst case scenario?
Like you said, whether it's a worst case scenario or not, I still stand to say that. That itself is an exception, you know. But I want to look at it from this angle, that if I need to get married to somebody, and he's giving me a condition that, look, because of the rate of which people are having abortion all over the place, and there's this issue of infertility, I want us to have children before marriage. I want to test you. Children are products of marriages. They are fruits of marriages. They are not to be attached, or they are not to be conditions of, you know, getting married. So if one is attaching conditions for having children for getting married, then I think there's a problem somewhere.
All
That's
right.
where I stand today.
Now, I don't know if you would agree that what she is saying, that two people coming in a relationship would first want to have babies to ascertain their maybe fertility level before, before they can go ahead with marriage. They first want to, like, maybe sometimes they want the lady, the female, to first be pregnant or to first have kids before they can say yes, that is a condition for going ahead into marriage. So what happens in that kind of case?
So I always love to look at things within the context of what exactly the challenge is. In that regard, I do not even think the challenge is the fact that they should get married or not get married. I think it's a bigger issue, a bigger social issue of disrespect to the woman. That is what I think. I don't even think it's more the issue of, if you do not marry me, then it is the woman that has to make a choice, so that she needs to treat herself with dignity and with honor and go ahead or not. So it's a bigger issue. It's not just, you must first marry me, then we check that you have a child, or before. It's just the same challenge with sex before marriage and all of that. It's more a respect and regard and an honor issue as a human being, not just necessarily a rule of, I should have a baby before or not. So that is the angle from which I choose to look at that.
Okay. Some people have said that marriage is not for everybody. There are people that would not want to get married, but they still want to have kids.
They don't want to have kids. But my challenge is this: how secured are those kids? How do you know children? I had somebody saying 2 days ago, she said...
But that again would be intentional parenting. Wanting to have kids without getting married.
You're saying, I just want to borrow your word. How secure are those kids? So the question I ask is, are you suggesting that it's just it is just the idea that a man and a woman coexist? That is what creates security in children. Let me tell you what science is saying towards research. So I love the fact that you say a person of faith. I'm 100% a person of faith. And I also love science, because science tells us how the world works. Science is telling us right now that it takes the presence of one responsive adult for a child to thrive. And the caveat there is the word responsive. That simply means when you have two irresponsive adults, a child will not flourish. So we can keep talking about marriage, and not talk about the issues even within marriage. I know that outside of marriage there are issues, but I'm saying within marriage, for us to even create the honor within marriage, then we should talk about the skills the parents need to develop, and not just say marriage is enough. No.
Anna, she has raised some concerns, issues in marriage, and these issues are real. And the children, of course, most times are the ones on the receiving end. So how do you handle these issues if we must stick to that idea of marriage and seeing it as something that is maybe sacred, as something that must be established before children comes to the picture?
I heard a young lady saying 2 days ago, you know, she said in her own, where she comes from, you know, because her stepmother was not legally married to their father, when the father passed on, there was nothing given to her and the children because they were not legally married. Now I'm going to the area of security. You know, when the marriage or the union, you know, is not, there's no legal union, you know, so it's not committed in the proper way. Now, what happens to the future of the children? Now, she said her stepmother has to go and pay her dowry by herself before she can have a part of the inheritance of her late husband. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about securing, securing children in relationship, securing children in the context of marriage relationship. So, if we are saying abuse, they are out there. There are social vices happening everywhere. They are there. So, but I'm talking of security, securing a child's future. That okay, your father has passed, your mother passed. This is what is entitled to you. This is what the will of the father is saying. But a child who is not in a very legal situation might not have a right to such will and inheritance. That's my point.
Social security.
So I do hear you, and I think what I hear you talk about is emphasize financial security for the children, which is important, but there are other forms of security that the child needs. There is emotional security that the child needs. There is physical security that the child needs. There are all those other forms of security that the child needs. And by the way, there are single mothers that are providing, or even single fathers, because I think we talk too much about single mothers. I have met single fathers in the course of my work who are raising their children alone for many reasons. And to be honest, they are doing amazing. Amazing. Yeah, they're doing amazing because they are parenting purposefully. They recognize the absence of a companion, and they're doing something about being alone. So I agree, financial security, but there are single fathers and single mothers that are also providing that security if your focus is just financial security. So there are other forms of security. I think that we should consider that whether marriage is providing that security, and how can we make marriage provided, and if other circumstances that have made children to be born outside of wedlock, if those circumstances are providing that security, are we going to kill them?
Wow.
No.
Well, a round of applause for our debaters, Ezefua and Anna. Well, we'll take a quick break at this point. When we return, it will be time for the Fire for Fire segment, where Anna and Ezefua will go neck on neck. Don't go away, you're still watching The Big